Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of True Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Jen Stakis. And today we are going to have more of a relaxed conversation. I'm super excited for this, just because I really wanted to have that more organic, just fun type of conversation. So I'm so excited to have Nicoletta on today. Nicoletta and I have known each other for how long? 15 years,
Like
right?
16, a long time.
Yeah, a long time. We grew up going to the same church, Greek school, the youth group, dance group, all that kind of stuff. And now, as we've gotten older, Nicoletta and I have very similar entrepreneurial mindset and just like the outlook on life
Yep.
mindset. So that's why I am so excited to have this conversation today. I cannot wait. Nicoletta, thank you so much for doing me the honors of being a guest on True Talk Podcast, and
Thank you for
welcome to
having
the
me.
True Crew.
Girl, you're such a professional. Look at you. I'm so proud of you.
Oh my God, you are the sweetest. Guys, Nicoletta is like the actual example, like prime example of living the American dream. Okay. So Nicoletta and her family, they're from an island in Greece called Rhodes. Beautiful island. Beautiful. I've never been. I'm going for the first time this year and I can't wait. But so her and her family came over when she was 11 years old. And it's so different. You are from a whole nother country and you're coming to the US.
Okay.
She came over when she was 11 years old with her family and has just completely changed the game of entrepreneurial. And I feel like you're just such an amazing influence and role model for girls, just with dealing with whether it be bullies or insecurities, just finding your way. So we're definitely going to dive more into that. But Nicoletta started her makeup adventure, makeup career on YouTube, just playing around doing YouTube tutorials and stuff. Guys, now, okay, she has been a makeup artist at New York Fashion Week 4 years. 4 years in a row. Like, insane. Self-taught, self-made, boss ass babe, bitch, business owner. Like, just incredible. Nicoletta, thank you so much again for joining. And I would love if you could tell our listeners and viewers just your story on how you got into the makeup world.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much again for having me. I'm so excited. This is like my first podcast as a guest, so I'm happy to be on
Oh my
yours.
gosh, I feel so special.
Yes, of course. But hi, everyone. My name is Nicoletta. If you don't know me, I'm a makeup artist and a content creator. Like Jenna said, I moved to the States when I was 11, which was back in 2006. And I moved to Baltimore from Rhodes. And honestly, it's a lot harder than people think. I feel like nowadays, too, you see a lot of people on TikTok and they're like, oh, yeah, I made my move here when I was like this age or whatever. But it really like takes a lot. Like I didn't speak English at all. I didn't know anybody here in Baltimore. So it was like a new lifestyle, new life. And growing up, I would come to Baltimore and visit my grandparents, but I never like obviously stayed. So when my parents were like, okay, we're moving to America, in my head, I was like, okay, we're gonna go on vacation and like come back. Like I didn't understand. And think about like packing your whole life into one luggage as a like an 11-year-old. What are you gonna pack with you to bring to another country?
Same.
But yeah, no, it was definitely hard. I would say middle school is already hard for everybody. Doesn't matter like if you live here or come from a different country. So I had to like make friends, get used to the lifestyle, and once I feel like I finally like got comfortable in middle school, then it was time to go to high school. And nobody from middle school came to the same high school. So it was basically like starting from scratch. So everyone kind of came to high school with like their clique already. I went to an all girls like private Catholic school in Baltimore, which is very typical in that area. And yeah, I just had to like find my voice again, which I kind of always felt like I never really like fit in. And obviously had to do with like being from a different country, but I was also like not like the athletic girl, so like sports weren't really my thing. I don't know, I just feel like there wasn't like a place for me to just kind of fit in. And back then, it was like a good 10 years now, we didn't really have like what we have now, where it's like you follow these influencers where they're like, oh, self love and be who you are and like love yourself. It was kind of like everyone wanted to be the same exact person. I look back and I feel like all the prom dresses literally were like the same thing, the style. Like there was nobody who just kind of like stood out to like be themselves. It's like, oh, what's on trend? Let's like all do
And
that.
if you tried to, like, you were looked at differently, you were
Yeah.
talked about, you were judged, like, it was harsh.
Exactly. Yeah, and like middle school was hard. Like when I first moved here in sixth grade, there was this other girl in my class too, and she was new too. And obviously, she was from the area, but literally, like she called me stupid Greek. And that to me, I was just like, is that all she has to say? And at the time, I took that so personally. I was just like, Mom, like, I hate this. Like, why do I have to be Greek? Like, I wish I was just like an American girl, like growing up normally. And now that girl like follows me on social media, keeps up with what I'm doing. But I'm like, stupid Greek. I'm like, I can speak two languages. Again, just like I went through a lot when it comes to that, and I've never really opened up too much to anybody, but that was definitely like a really hard time. But anyway, fast forward to like graduating high school. I was so excited to be done because high school was like really like a hard time. I feel like that was like the first time I actually kind of went through like anxiety and depression. But again, at the time, like nobody really knew what anxiety and depression was. So I didn't really understand it myself, but I graduated high school in 2013. And that summer is when I was just like on YouTube, just like playing around, watching different videos. And I discovered like different makeup videos, like beauty gurus, like Jaclyn Hill, Carly Bible, like the OGs of the makeup industry. I never wore makeup before that. Not a drop, nothing. Not my senior prom, not my senior portraits.
Yeah.
And it's funny because at home, my parents had like me, my brother, and sisters like senior portraits on the wall. So it's me with like a bare face, then my brother, and then my sister, 6 years after me. I did her makeup, full glam, lashes, highlighter. I'm like, this is not here. No, not at all. But yeah, I was just never into makeup. So I discovered all these gurus, would watch their makeup unboxings, their hauls. They had so much makeup. I'm like, what the heck are they doing with all this? So then I just kind of started playing around. And it's funny because I still do have some videos on YouTube where it's just like 2013 and it's just like I thought it was like the best tutorial ever, but
Yeah.
it's just like so rough. But I love having it because now I'm like, oh my God, look where you started and look where you
Yeah, like, look at your growth. It's
yeah, absolutely.
incredible.
And my favorite thing is that finding makeup definitely gave me like the voice that I didn't have before that because I'm like, okay, my English is slowly getting better, but like with makeup, you didn't really need to talk. It was just, it's an art. So I would
Yeah.
like use my hand, do the makeup, whether it was on myself at first, then my mom, my sister, and eventually I started working for like a hair salon nearby, so I would help out with like proms and then I started my journey through Ulta Beauty. And yeah, the rest is literally, I don't know, it's just so crazy to like even say that out loud to you. I'm like, wow, it's crazy how life really works out because now as a 29-year-old, I'm like, wow, never thought I would be a makeup artist as my full-time job. But
Yeah.
here we are.
It's It's incredible, and it just goes back to always trust the plan that God has for you.
Yeah,
You know, like he knows what he's doing,
for sure.
and you don't want to question it. And there's a reason for every trial and everything we've been through in life.
Yeah.
And I just can't commend you more for being so true to yourself and following along with it. I think it's incredible because it's something a lot of people struggle with. You know, just speaking for me, I thought I had to have one of those professional titles of being a doctor, a pharmacist, a lawyer, or
Yeah.
something to be someone.
But also, especially like in our culture, I feel like a lot of people,
Heal.
yeah, in
Yes.
the culture, it's very like, go to school, become a doctor, a lawyer, get married, have babies. It's
Yeah.
very traditional. What are these bubbles?
Girl, if that's not confirmation for what we're talking about, I don't know what is. But like, it's so true because, a lot of people, for the listeners and viewers out there who aren't Greek or don't come from a culture that's like the Greeks or
Very traditional.
Italian, it's very much like my big fat Greek wedding. Like you're gonna get married to a nice Greek boy, you're gonna have kids, and like that's your
Yeah.
job, and if you don't have that professional title, people are like, so what is it that you're doing with your life?
Exactly.
And it's like, oh well, are you making money from
Yeah.
that? Like, are you gonna be able to support your family from that and stuff? And it's like, you know what, I'm happy with
Yeah.
where I am. And that's something, like, I hope we're not getting too off topic here, but like that's something that I tell people all the time. I'm like, yeah, is it good to have money? Absolutely. Like I want to be comfortable,
Great.
but
Who
like
doesn't?
when we die, we're not going to get buried with our money.
You're not taking your money, you're not taking your car, your expensive bags, you're not taking any of that.
Exactly. So like why do we put such an emphasis on having these materialistic things?
Hmm.
Right? Like I
I
just
think it comes back to like those things for some people, like are validation. Like
yes.
I have this nice car, like, oh, I'm better than you, or I have
Yeah.
this expensive bag, I'm better than you. And now as an adult, like I understand that more, but it's cheesy, but it just comes back to like the confidence that you have for yourself, the self-love that you have for yourself, because I agree with you, like even working for yourself is hard. You know how it is. Like
It's a
it's a
grind.
24/7 job. It's not a 9 to 5. It's 24/7.
Yeah.
But are you happier mentally? Yes, like absolutely. I'm like I'd rather be like struggling sometimes, but doing what I love. And it's so
Yes.
nice not to have to like show up for someone or have someone like micromanage you. But it also like never say never either.
Yes.
If the opportunity comes up and it's great, like take it. Just because you're already an entrepreneur, I don't know. I just feel like everyone's like at a different part of their lives, but
Yeah.
it's like never say never. Even if you work a 9 to 5 and you want to start a business, like do it. Or if you have a business and then you're like, you know what, this isn't for me anymore. I think I want to go back to 9 to 5. Do it. Like it's up to you, and it shouldn't feel like, oh, I'm a failure for going back to something else. Or
Yeah. Let's talk about your venture with the boutique,
yeah,
right? Like
absolutely.
you had Calista Boutique for a little bit and it wasn't going the way that you wanted it to,
Yeah. I
right?
think, yeah. So I, during 2020, when the world was shut down, most people decided to like just chill, have a good time. Me, on the other hand, I was like, let me start a business. Like, why would I just sit at home and do nothing?
Right.
So I started an online clothing boutique, Love Calista, and I personally really enjoyed it at the time. It was fun. It was something way out of my comfort zone. I learned so much when it came to like the business side of things, like behind the scenes, like accounting, like taxes, like all that boring stuff that I don't enjoy at all.
Yeah.
Um, and working with the clients, the customers, just completely different from the makeup industry. And I enjoyed it, don't get me wrong. But then 2022 came around and like the world slowly started getting back to like the normal. And deep down, I just had to be honest with myself and be like, is this really your passion? Because I was literally doing makeup. At the time, I was also doing digital marketing and offering services for businesses just like you, like web design, social media management, and the clothing boutique.
Yeah.
It got to the point where I was constantly on like fight or flight. I was on like survival mode. I would make money from my one business and put it into the other business. And it was just like a little hamster wheel.
Yeah.
There was no balance anymore. And it literally took me getting like severely sick to realize like this is no longer serving me. This is not good for my health. And it's sad because I really enjoyed it and I really had customers who were like weekly launched customers and I feel like I was letting them down. But that's what I mean. You just have to be honest with yourself. If it's no longer like making you happy, feeling good,
Yeah.
I don't have that hustle mentality anymore. I'm not like work hard now so you can live later. No, because you can like literally die today. And that's like the mindset I have now. I'm like, I don't want to just work today and then enjoy my money like 40 years from now.
Amen. I could not agree more. Seriously, with everything that I went through health wise, if that wasn't one of the biggest lessons that I learned, and I
Exactly.
talk about in one of my other episodes that life is so short, but it's so beautiful.
Hmm.
Like, you need to, and it's gonna sound corny, but like, seize the day.
Yeah.
Seize the
No, you
day.
do.
Stop. Yeah, stop
Yeah.
and smell the frickin' flowers.
Hmm.
Go to the beach if you want to. Don't sit here and wait till you're 65 when you think you're gonna retire at the beach to then start enjoying yourself and enjoying life. That's
Yeah.
not fair to you. It's not.
That's the thing. Yeah, kind of how you were saying, like go out and enjoy your day. I feel like when I don't do things during the day for myself, mentally, I feel like I'm just like I get in survival mode trying to keep up. So,
Yes.
like today, like we have time for the podcast. I'm like, it's
Yeah.
Wednesday, I'll go for a walk later, go to the pool. Like actually like make time for those things and fuel your own cup because when you don't, then you have no energy to do anything else. That I learned
Energy to give to anyone else
and
either. For the listeners and viewers who might have, a family, have kids,
yeah,
like if you aren't taking care of yourself first and filling your cup and your fulfillment and all of that kind of stuff, you will not be able to be there for your kids and your family and to help with whatever it might be homework, dinner, sports. Like if you are, you're going to be doing it because you have to and you're not going to be satisfied with it. You're going to have a bad attitude. It's just,
yeah, exactly. That's
yeah,
like the worst mentality to have, like, oh, I have to work out or I have to do this. And obviously, you or myself are not moms yet,
right.
so we can't just sit here and be like, oh, if you're a mom, wake up earlier. But like, it
No.
doesn't have to be like a 2 hour long morning routine. Like literally 5 minutes.
5 minutes. 5 minutes. That's all.
A
5 minutes
full,
with an ice roller. I
yeah,
don't know.
exactly.
Like,
Or like meditate. If I would say
yeah.
one thing for anybody to do who has like 2 to 3 minutes, meditate. That's it. Like if I could skip one day every day, or like if I could do one thing every day, it would be meditation before journaling, before anything else.
Okay. So with meditation, I love it.
Yeah.
I meditate. People, and mostly Greek people, okay, our people.
Okay.
Happy Greek Independence Day, by the
Yes. At the
way.
same time. Oh my God, yeah.
But they misconstrue meditation thinking that, it's only of a Buddhist practice. And because we are Greek Orthodox, it goes against our religion. myself, I am Greek Orthodox Christian to the fullest,
Yep.
as are you, I believe,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Okay. So that doesn't mean that all of a sudden we change religions because we're sitting there to take 10 minutes to clear our minds.
Mhm.
Right? Like, help me out on this
No,
because,
absolutely. I agree. And it's funny you say that too, because like obviously some people are more old school, like my yeah, like
yeah,
very old school. I love her, God bless her. But sometimes I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna go meditate. She's like, just go pray. And I'm like, I still do pray though. It's like two different things. Like when I
exactly.
pray, I'm talking to God, but when I'm meditating, I'm just like sitting at like with my own thoughts, trying to
Just
like let it
quiet.
all go.
Just quiet. That's
Yeah.
it. Like,
And
yeah.
I'm glad you kind of brought that up though, like feeling like it's against our religion, because I've had people too on my Instagram when I'm like, oh, I manifested this thing. And they're like manifestations against like religion. And I get it. But again, my mentality, I'm just like manifesting and praying and God are just like, I find it that it's all like together. Like when I manifest something, I'm just also,
But we're going down the rabbit hole on this
I
because
know.
I got some stuff to say.
Yeah.
Because for my listeners that didn't see me just now in the video, I threw my head back and like completely pretty much face palmed and rolled my eyes. Because like here's something that I've become super passionate about,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Manifestation is real. And if you don't believe in it, that's fine. You don't have to, no one's telling you to. If you're interested in learning more, there's a podcast that I listen to called Manifestation Babe, and it's with Catherine Zenkina, I believe her name is. I'll put it in the show notes. But so I got I got into manifestation, but not to the point where I disregard our religion. People always like, people with manifesting, and when it comes to like tarot cards and stuff like that, they always reference source. And what people don't understand is that source is whoever source is for you. So it's whatever resonates with you.
Yeah.
So for you and me being Greek Orthodox Christians, source for us is God, is
Yeah.
Jesus. Like we still believe and recognize in our religion. No, we're not sitting here going to a psychic asking them to tell us our future. Like we understand that that is against our
Yeah.
religion. We
It's
don't
just
believe
something
in that.
you personally.
Exactly. Me either. And I've never done that because, like we said in the beginning, we trust in God's
Yeah.
plan. There's no human form of somebody here on earth that can tell me what God has planned for me.
Exactly. And also, I feel like that will just give me more anxiety. Like, I'll
Right?
go on with your day for the rest of your life now. Like, you
Yeah.
never know what they're gonna say.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree with everything you say. But again, it's like source is like a personal thing. And to me, religion and faith are also two different things. Like religion, our Greek Orthodox religion, very traditional, very old school. We have our beliefs, that's great. But then it's when people say like they don't believe in God, that's fine, but like you have to have some type of faith, like
Right?
to go with life. So even when I say like the universe has my back, I mean it like God has my back. It's like,
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, God created the universe. So God created everything. So, like, that's what I'm going back to,
yeah,
But, like, I at night, I fall asleep to healing frequencies, like, I really, if I need to calm down, listen to certain, anxiety relief or, healing frequencies. And especially
absolutely.
once again with everything that I went through, and ultimately ending up on this entrepreneurial journey,
Yeah.
I was like, No, I know I can get to where it is that I'm meant to be. I know where it is I'm going. I know God put me here for a reason and I'm going to make it happen, but I'm going to manifest it
Yeah,
too. You know,
exactly.
like I have that, I have ability to do that for myself.
And that's for somebody who's a beginner too. I think like YouTube is a great source to start off with when it comes to like even like morning affirmations. Just to change like that inner dialogue because for a long time till this day I still struggle with that. Like those negative thoughts and beliefs. Oh, but you're not good enough, or like she's better like at makeup than you are. Why do you think you can like work with that celebrity one day? Or what makes you think you can do that? Like just all this like inner dialogue. So like morning affirmations is like a great way to start working on that instead of just like sitting around and like wishing your life away.
Literally have sticky notes on my mirror upstairs in my room that say different affirmations.
Yeah.
And when I was in the thick of it with symptoms and going through everything, I would say out loud in my car 3 times, I am strong, I am healthy, I am healed. I
Yeah.
am strong, I am healthy, I am healed. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but three
And you're
years
strong and you're
later,
healthy and you're healed.
thank you.
No,
Thank
exactly.
you.
And
Snaps. Like,
honestly, no, truly, Jenna, though, you're like a walking miracle when it comes to like
oh my
the holistic route. No, really,
God, you
because
are so sweet.
we can
Thank
like
you.
talk about this too. Because, and again, I don't ever judge anyone and like their opinions and their thoughts, but I also feel like when somebody can like judge me and give me their opinion, then I can do the same thing back. But I feel like the holistic route is so underrated.
It is. It is. And it's upsetting because I've firsthand have seen what a difference it can make
Mhm.
to your body and even just mentally. Like, guys, I talked about this on the first or the second episode with my first guest, Nicole, who is a certified wellness consultant. The chemicals that are in our foods are not okay. Like, I'm going to give you a perfect example. I went to the vitamin shop the
Mhm.
other day. It was on Thursday or Friday, and I needed pre workout.
Okay.
And I know it's not the best to take because of all the caffeine,
Yeah, of
some
course.
chemicals that can be in it, but I use it here and there because I need to be able to get through a workout after a long day of all the other jobs that we, entrepreneurs have to do. So I went and I got this one because I was kind of in a rush and I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna grab this one and try it. I come back, took it, went to the gym, and then afterwards, I don't know why, I'm normally so much better at looking at the ingredients and stuff. I look at the ingredients, and at the bottom of the list, it said red 50,
Or
yellow 5, red
don't you love
3, or something. Look those up. Carcinogens.
that?
They are carcinogens.
Like the
If
amount of
y'all don't
ingredients.
know what a carcinogen is, it ain't good.
No.
Like, it's straight chemical. I cannot take that anymore. So there's a waste
Well, I
of
mean,
$40.
especially in
Like,
America, like that's how they make their money. It's all about marketing and money. And it could
yeah,
be like fat-free, pre-workout, whatever, healthy, and people just buy it because that's what they read. But
I
yeah, it's
know.
like trying to even like with my supplements, I used to take a lot of like gummies because they're just like easier than pills to swallow.
Yeah.
And it's just like sugar is the number one ingredient, followed by gum, just things like you can't even pronounce. And I'm like, is this really a vitamin? What are we
No,
taking?
it's
But
not. It's
ingredients are just wild. But especially here in America, because then it's like, okay, they want you to get sick, so then big pharma can make their money.
exactly. And let's talk about beauty products for a second. My lovely makeup artist.
Yes, I
I
know.
have seen you talk about Ilia, which is
Yeah.
one of the cleanest brands.
Mhm.
And they're a great brand. Like they have great products,
We
right?
do. Yep, I'm obsessed with their mascara.
Yeah,
But yeah, and don't get me wrong, it's hard as a makeup artist because there's
it is. It
good
is. Yeah.
products
Yeah.
that are
Yeah.
amazing. Like I love my NARS, will forever be a NARS girly.
Yeah.
But if I do have a client who wants to be more like clean, cares what we put on their face, then I do have products for that specific client. Or
Yeah.
if a client wants to bring like their own makeup products, they're more than welcome to do so.
Yeah.
I am very thankful that we do have brands now that are trying to be more mindful when it comes to like things that we do put on our skin. Because
Yes.
if you do think about it, like if you have pores and your pores are open and you're putting all that in there, it's going into your body. And
Yeah. Like,
yeah,
do people not get that? That
body wash,
like
scrubs, all of that. Shampoo,
deodorant. Like
deodorant.
you have these pores, these glands, and then that goes straight into your bloodstream. Like this is how everything is,
It's connected.
connected.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like, come on, guys. It's
Yeah.
not, it upsets me that it took us this long to get to this point. And, that's one of the main reasons why I came out with the podcast and share my story is because no one should ever have to go through what I went through. And if I can prevent that from happening just by educating people on that, then I feel like I've done my due diligence.
Yes,
But
exactly.
like, that's
And
why
see,
this is so
yeah,
important.
that exactly is why you went through what you went through. Because if you didn't, you wouldn't have this podcast for a fact. I know that.
Exactly.
And now you're just like here educating people through what you went through, helping them out. But also, if I remember correctly, you told me like the doctors never even like fully diagnosed you properly, or they didn't know what it was, but they were telling you what to take, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
like, how does that
Oh,
even make sense? Like, I'm
yeah.
not even a doctor. I was never even a science girly. I hated science.
Me
But
too.
like, how does this make sense?
It doesn't. It doesn't make sense. You know what's funny? My mom even said it to the neurologist because we're going to get a little bit into my medical history here, but in 2016, I had a 16 centimeter cyst on my
Wow.
left ovary. I
Okay.
had to get emergency surgery. It completely squashed my ovary. So they removed the cyst and whatever was left of the ovary. Like there wasn't anything left of
Yeah.
it. Had that removed. Then I start going through all these symptoms, the neurological symptoms. So then we're going through that. And because it was such an anomaly, like not knowing what it was I had, the neurologist had me speaking with the cancer team, all these different doctors, all these different divisions and wanted me to get a breast MRI.
Okay.
So go get breast MRI, end up finding a lump in my right breast. It was benign. It was non-cancerous. It was just a mass. But I could have left it and we would have just monitored
Yeah,
it. But I was like, no, get it out.
of
So
course.
went through surgery, got it out. And I'm going through all these neurological things, and my mom's like to the doctor, is it possible that the ovary and the mass and the breast and this is all linked somehow? And he's like, no, 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 they're all different. And it's like, hold on a second. I'm one human. It's not like we're talking about three different people here.
Everything happening at the same time and somehow had to be connected.
Like, I mean, the cyst was back in 2016, but the
Yeah.
mass and the neurological stuff was in
At the same
2020.
time.
But like, it was only 4 years. Oh, which is really crazy to think about
And
because it
then,
feels like longer. But anyways, so yeah, that's just a whole.
yeah, no, I totally get it because even me, what was it, 2019? 2019 was a really like the lowest low like of year of my life, like just
Yeah.
so bad. And I look back and I'm like, who is even that girl? And I'm like so happy of like how I am today.
Yeah.
But for the first time ever, I was like, you know what? I think I want to try Zoloft, and Zoloft is fine. Like again, I'm not just feel like I always have to kind of like give a little disclaimer every time
Always.
I say something because I don't want people thinking like obviously I'm not a professional, so I don't want
Yeah.
people thinking I'm saying don't take Zoloft. But me as a person, personally, I was just like, okay, let's try Zoloft out, see how it goes. I was just so scared. Like, I was so in my head. I was like, let's just start off small. So start off with 25 milligrams, which is I know it's nothing. People are like, oh, that's nothing. But for me, it was still a lot. And then eventually the doctor was like, okay, let's do 50 milligrams. So long story short, I was having a lot of like OCD, obsessive thoughts, and I went to a doctor and I was eventually professionally diagnosed with OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. And that's the thing where a lot of people think that OCD is just like you being clean and organized. I can be very messy, so it's not just that. And it's different for everybody. But for me, the hardest thing was the obsessive thoughts. I just had these thoughts where I was like, this doesn't feel like me. These are not my thoughts. Like, it would be like really scary and severe. Like, oh my God, what if you just want to like drive off the road right now? What if you just want to hurt somebody? And I was like, this isn't me. Like, it was just so scary. And again, the doctor was just like, well, get on Zoloft. And I'm like, okay. So I got on that thinking that this magic pill is just going to take those thoughts away. But that didn't happen. If anything, I felt more like depressed and low. And I just had like no energy. I didn't feel like myself. Like, I'm a Pisces, like such a hopeless romantic. I cry at everything and I don't care. I'm like, I cry. I love it. I couldn't cry at
Yeah.
all. I would literally watch The Notebook and there was like no, not even one teardrop. I'm like, this is insane. This is
What?
insane. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna cut this out of my life. And then I went to therapy, which really helped. And after that, it started off with like different lifestyle changes, alcohol especially, which now that I'm talking about it, being down here in Florida, girl, it's hard because it feels like you're on vacation every day and there's happy hours left and
Down there
like you start
every
making
well,
friends, you start a network, and they're like, let's go for a drink, let's go for a drink. And I feel like now mentally and physically my body feels it and I'm like, all right, let's take a step back. Maybe like if you want to go for like a green juice instead or like a smoothie, like let's do that. um
acai bowl.
Yeah, exactly. Something like on the healthier side of things, but
Yeah.
yeah, it all came back to like making like different like little holistic life changes that helped me get back to where I am now.
Yes. I am so proud of you for that because it's always, the easier way out is just a pill.
Yeah.
It's the more natural, holistic route, and I keep saying this, is not for the weak. It
Yeah.
is not. It takes a lot of discipline, it takes a lot of self reflection, takes a lot of inner strength that you've got to
Patient.
pull out. Persistence, you're going to get frustrated. It's not going to be a quick snap of the fingers, you're going to see a difference in a day. It takes time. It
Mhm.
takes time.
And that's the thing though, like even though it does take time, now I have this different mindset where I'm like, but it's my body. Like if my body's not good, like I can't go to New York Fashion Week. I can't move to Florida.
Yeah,
I can like do what I want to do. So
yeah,
that's why it's like it's your body. Whatever you want to do, like take care of your body first so you can like show up in life.
exactly. Okay, let's talk for a second about dating
Okay, let's do it.
because I don't know about you, but dating in your 20s, like mid to late 20s in 2024, being I'm a hopeless romantic too. I'm an old soul. Like I look for chivalry. I look for, the gentleman,
Yeah, of course.
the suave gentleman. And I'm not talking about the guy who's going to be like, it hurt. Did what hurt? Did it hurt when you fell from heaven? No, I don't want your corny pickup lines.
No, of
I
course
want you to open the door for me, pull my chair out, pick me up for a date, you
Yeah.
know. What has that been like for you since you've moved to Florida? Because I'm living vicariously through you being in Florida.
Told you, whenever you want to come down, please do.
I'm coming and we're going to do another episode live in Florida.
Yes,
So
definitely. Absolutely.
watch out for that one, guys.
So I moved down to Florida, South Florida, February 1st. So it's been 2 months now since I've been here. But before I came down, I just kind of told myself, like, okay, be open minded, see again where God takes you. But I also just kind of sat down with myself and had to be honest with myself. Like, I've dated a lot, I've been in a few relationships, and everything is great. Like, you live and you learn. Like,
Yes.
things happen the way they're supposed to happen.
Yes.
But I feel like I had to sit down and be honest with myself and be like, okay, what do you want in your next relationship? You can't just always be like the good girl that accepts everything and anything. And you're like, yeah, no, sure, that's fine. Sure, that's fine. And it's not, because then like it builds up and you're like, I'm not even happy anymore. But so anyway, I told myself, I was like, you know what? I'm going to try and date older and see how that goes. I've never done that before. I'm 29 and I've always dated like somebody who's like a year or two older than me, and that's it. Like, now that I think about it, yeah, that's pretty much it. So anyway, I've gone on a few dates with like guys who are like literally like 6 or 7 years older than me, and I will say it's like a whole different experience, and it was definitely very out of my comfort zone because it's like, oh my god, 7 years older than me. I was like doing the math in my head. Even my mom, she's like, it's just a number. Like, why? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I have cousins in Greece who are dating their significant other is like 10 years younger than them, or I have my cousin who got married, her husband's like 8 years younger than her. So like, you never know who you're gonna end up with. But the good thing with Florida, there's so many things to do. It's not just like, let's go grab dinner and drinks. You can go to the beach.
Welcome to Baltimore.
Girl, yes, trust me, I get it. I've been there for 18 years. So you can go to the beach, have a picnic. You can go on the boardwalk. You can go mini golf. You can go, there's just so many things, like a live concert, like just so many things to do, which I think that makes it more fun to just not do the same thing over and over again, like dinner and drinks, drinks, dinner and drinks. And I'm the type of person where like I hate a first date to be dinner because I feel awkward eating. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, I'm like, I don't feel comfortable enough to eat in front of somebody,
Yeah.
yet like an attractive man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's been good. And I will say, like, how you were saying, like, you're a hopeless romantic, so am I. For a long time, I was like, you know what, you're just asking for too much. But I also had people tell me you're asking for too much. Like, oh, that only happens in movies. But I don't know if you saw my TikTok. I went on a first date, and this man literally showed up with, like, the biggest bouquet of roses.
Yeah.
Yeah, ever. And I was just like, is he
See?
good?
They're out there.
Good. So now I feel like I am unlearning everything that I was used to. And I'm like, no, Nicoleta, it's like normal for a man to like give you flowers, or normal for a guy to like make the reservations himself and stuff like that. Cause I was always like, I feel like I think it comes back to the entrepreneurship in us. We tend to be in the more masculine.
We take on our masculine
Yeah.
energy because we have to for work,
Yeah.
you know? So like we're definitely, and it's a problem of mine. I'm definitely trying to get more into my feminine energy, but like I've been told for years, like ever since I started dating, Jenna, you're too aggressive. And I'm like,
Attack.
I can't help it. Like
It's hard though. It's hard.
it is.
Like, we know we can do everything on our own, but like you just gotta be more like on in your flow and like let him do that. Because if you're constantly doing everything, the man sometimes feels like they can't be in their masculine energy, so then they become less
Right.
men.
Right, because and my cousin tells me this all the time. She's like, men are natural born hunters.
Yeah,
They're natural born hunters. Like
I
they
agree.
want to pursue.
Yeah,
That's what
exactly.
they're
And pursuing. If they want to, they would. Like People say that a lot. If he wanted to, he would.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Like if a
it's so
man
true.
wants something, he will not stop until he has that.
Yep. Yeah, that's another thing I've had to tell myself over and over when I'm like, am I the problem? Am I whatever? If I do something different, it's like, no, Jenna, if he wanted to, he would have called. If he wanted to, he would have texted.
Yeah.
If he wanted to, he would have said, yeah, let's go out again, you
Mhm.
know?
Exactly.
And I think you and I just kind of I've done this. I don't know if you have, but I put my hands up and I surrendered to God.
Oh,
Like, you know what? God, I trust that
yeah.
you will bring me the right person at the right time. You are not going to waste my time again
No.
because we've
But it's good to have boundaries like that because it's so
yeah,
easy to get like caught in like, oh, just talking to someone. And
yeah,
personally, I'm just over that. Like,
right.
because it's like, okay, I'm 29. But I also feel like once you meet the right person, like time doesn't even matter. Like if you know, you know.
Right. So like say let's put a hypothetical example, right? You're 29. Say in 2 months you meet the one
Right.
and you
The
know
one.
the one. I'm talking like this is Prince
Yeah.
Charming.
Right.
Okay.
Mhm.
You meet the one and 6 months go by and you guys are dating boyfriend, girlfriend those 6 months and he proposes. I
Yeah.
don't see the problem in that.
I agree. And again, for a long time, I thought that was an issue. I would see other people and I was like, dude, it hasn't even been a year. Like, how the heck are you already engaged? But like, I get it now. I get it. Just like even the fact like being around older men, I see their mindset. So I'm like,
Yes.
I get it. Like we were saying, like men are hunters. If they want something, they'll have it. They're not gonna stop until they have it. So I think it comes back to like the person you're dating. Everyone has different goals. Everyone has
Exactly.
different ambition. Everyone, sees life differently. I mean, that's like you're supposed to date and see what works, see what doesn't work. Because otherwise, I wouldn't know what I want now.
Exactly. Exactly. I wouldn't I think you feel the same. I wouldn't ever go back and I don't have any regrets.
Yeah,
I don't have any regrets from any part of my dating life.
no,
It all happened for a reason. Everyone played their role the way
yep,
they were supposed to. Like
yeah,
that's just what it comes down to.
hmm,
But seriously, Nicoleta, I commend you so much for coming to the States. Like, we're going to take it way back. Coming to
yeah,
the States, going through the adversities of being from a completely different country, not knowing the language,
yeah.
and building your brand, building a name for yourself, and then seeing that you weren't happy here in Baltimore and picked up your stuff and went to Florida, and now you're the happiest you could ever be.
Thank you. Yeah.
Like, oh,
It takes time too. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm in Florida. I forget
yeah.
because you kind of eventually get into a routine, so you kind of forget. But yeah, I don't know. I just kind of felt like I've always wanted to move from Baltimore because I am definitely like a daydreamer for sure. And I've always had those people in my life who are like, oh, that's not realistic. And I'm like, what does realistic even mean? Everyone has a different definition. So it may not be realistic to you, but it is for me. And
Yeah.
in my early 20s after college, I was like obsessed with New York City, just like most people. And I'm like, I want to move to New York. But then again, you have to be honest with yourself and be like, does this make sense? Like,
Yeah.
it's expensive. I mean, there's pros and cons to everything. But yeah, this time around, as I'm getting older, I'm like, I love the warm weather, the beach. Obviously, I grew up in Rhodes. Like, the island life is in me. Like, I can
Yeah.
go without winter and snow. So that's why I was like, you know what? Florida is like the South. I love that. And let's just give it a try. So I decided to just like stop talking myself out of it and just like
Yeah.
reach out to certain people. and it all worked out. So I'm very grateful. And honestly, I would say like for any of your like viewers or listeners who are thinking of like moving from a state to like a different state, the hard part is not even like picking up and moving. The hard part is once you're here, you realize with time, your family isn't here. Your best friend isn't here, or yaya is not down the street. If people don't know you, like you don't have your everyday restaurant that you used to go to. So it's a lot of change, and I lately I feel like I've been a little hard on myself, just because I'm like, oh my gosh, you've been here for 2 months already, and that's like my mindset. But when I tell that to people, they're like, you've only been there for 2 months. Where in my head, I'm like, 2 months already.
Literally just said this on my story the other day where I was like, I had to have a talk with myself, like about my podcast not
Mhm.
being number one yet or having millions of followers. Do not compare your chapter one to someone else's chapter 20.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, we've got to go chapter by chapter,
Mhm.
page by page, and
Yeah,
that's fine. That's how it's supposed to be. Shout
and
out to Jen Gottlieb because that's who I got that from. But
love
go
that.
on.
But no, it's so true. And again, it comes back to social media. It's so hard not to compare yourself to somebody else.
Yes.
But
The
um,
imposter syndrome and
oh
stuff.
yeah, we
Yeah.
all have it. And that's the thing. Like, okay, we can show up and talk about our highlights here on your podcast or on social media, wherever it is, but at the end of the day, we all have like our own struggles that we're going through. So being here now, like trying to make a life for myself, make new friends, like build my clientele because I literally left like a full book of clients in Baltimore. And I knew that was going to be part of it. I knew that was going to be hard. Thankfully, I've been able to like network with other people in the industry, meet people, and
Yeah.
I love that. I love networking. I love meeting people, which is crazy because when I first moved here from Greece, I was so shy. Like I didn't want to talk to anybody.
For you.
Girl, like even like
You
youth
were
group, I look back
so
and
quiet.
I was just like, I don't want to say I was like nobody, but I felt like that. I was like, I don't want to be here. Like, there's nothing to talk about. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to fit in.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, I know who I am. I love who I am. I know what I want in life. So I'm like excited to go out there and like meet people and make friends and try new things out. And Florida was like truly like the best thing I could ever do for myself. And the only regret I have is like not doing it sooner, of course. I feel like that's what most people say when they
It
move.
happened when it was supposed to.
Exactly. But also another thing is like when you do move, it's normal to miss home. Like,
Of course.
even if you're just kind of like over wherever you're from. Like I was like, "Ugh, I'm so over Baltimore." But it's like I obviously I miss my family, my dog, my friends, but I also miss like my favorite food spots and I miss my
Yeah.
routine there and knowing where I'm driving and not always having to have a GPS on. You
Right.
know, little things like that. And it's special, like because now that I'm gonna go back for a weekend or so, I'm excited to go back for a weekend or so.
Yeah, you appreciate it more. I
It's so
mean,
true.
that's with anything, like, and I can't believe I'm able to tie it back to my my condition, everything that I've been through, but like when I lost my ability to write or to speak without tremor,
Yeah,
I was like, wow, it's crazy that something that's just an everyday secondhand thing you take for granted. Now I don't take it for granted at all. Like I appreciate the smallest things.
yeah.
The smallest things.
And
So
like
it's
again, it
so
comes
true.
back to gratitude too. Like I get like we just take it for granted, like the fact that we can see and talk and walk and write. And it's like if this was taken away from us, then we'd be like so sad. So that's why I'm like,
And we got a glimpse of that with COVID. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like, COVID hitting and nobody would even
yeah,
smile at anybody, talk or hug or touch.
yeah.
Like, that got taken real quick.
It was like a weird time in life for sure.
So weird.
Um,
The
yeah.
weird. My gosh. Well, I absolutely love this conversation that we had today.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
Of course. And I can't wait till I come to Florida and we do
Yeah,
it in person because
please do.
that's happening. Like
Yeah.
I'm coming a crash. So
We can have
like
like a
hope
nice, like healthy lifestyle like weekend. We can go for a walk, we can get an acai bowl, go to the beach, do a
uh,
podcast, all the good stuff, go to a spa, which they have I've noticed like the wellness down here in Florida is really good between like cold baths,
yes.
and stuff like that, saunas, and they're not even part of gyms. Like they're just like casually you can just walk in,
No, they're
get in the cold
businesses.
bath and leave. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's wild.
So Nicole, who was my first guest, certified wellness consultant, she's based in Miami.
Okay.
And she shows all the time on the Instagram the fresh farmers market
Yes.
produces every weekend.
Every
Just, I
weekend.
mean, the amenities that are
Yeah.
down there and how conscious people are of living a healthy lifestyle
Yeah.
naturally.
hmm
Like,
It's like a
oh,
balance between the two, like happy hours and then your healthy lifestyle.
girl,
Yeah.
stop
Anyway, all
because
good. Let's not
I'm,
start talking
I'm
again.
thinking about coming down there now. So, guys, don't be surprised if I say I'm packing up my shit and I'm going to Florida
Yes.
because I've got family down there. I'm like this close.
Visit them at least.
I know. I need to. But, anyways, I have one last question as your initiation into the True Crew. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Oof, superpower. Man, I feel like it would be cool to like be able to like fully read somebody's mind, which I know it's like a lot going on, but
Oh,
that would
yeah.
just kind of like save me from like wasting any of my time.
So, you mean like on dates? Like,
Yeah, exactly. Let's take it for dates. No, definitely for dates. Like, what is your actual like?
what are your intentions here, my
Exactly.
guy? Like,
Because people talk, but actions always speak louder than words. So,
interesting. I love it. Well, that was your initiation into the True Crew. So
hey, yeah.
welcome. Guys, Nicoletta posts it's such motivating, inspiring videos and pictures and just all of her content is that aesthetic girl.
That's
That's what you're looking for.
yes.
So make sure to check out her social handles. I'm going to put them in the description in the show notes below.
Thank you.
And if you are in the Florida area and need makeup, Nicoletta has a website as well. I
Yes.
will post that so that if you would like to inquire about bridal makeup, engagement, whatever, if you have
Like
an
all
event,
events too. If you're just like
yeah,
in Florida for the weekend, want to
and
get
you
going
need
out.
makeup done, like this is your girl. She is New York Fashion Week tier. Like that's pretty damn good if you ask me. But Nicoletta, thank you so, so much again. I absolutely love talking with you, and I can't wait to do it again in person.
No, for sure, for sure. And again, thank you so much for having me. Can't wait to listen to this episode again. Again, I'm so
Of
proud of you.
course.
And
Thank
keep doing
you.
what you do. Like you're thriving and killing it, and I'm just so happy for you.
Thank you, my love. You have been one of my biggest inspirations throughout it. So thank you.
Sweet.
And guys, make sure to follow for all things coming with the True Talk podcast and more of what's to come with our True Crew. All right, guys, have a good one.